Hi, everyone. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, I was just looking at the latest photoshopped picture that Megalodon has put up on her Instagram account. And yet again, I mean, that sunlight is totally drawn in. It's so ridiculous. It's like as if the sun's just opening up over her. I mean, wow, our narcissism is really off the charts with this one, with the sunlight. And there's lots of problems with this image, as you can imagine, with as there is with every single image she does. Namely a few things. She's floating above the rocks here. You see a lot of dark spaces there, as if she's floating above. And then you look at the foot. You can count 5 toes, but then there's this huge bulge on the side that makes no sense. And it's like light. It's a lighter color. It should be dark if it's in the shadow there. And what else? Oh, I noticed the area where the child's arm is, where the shirt goes straight down right here, which would, the only way you could get a shirt going straight down is if something's pulling it down, straight down, right? It's cloth. But yet there's nothing down there like pinning it down. Instead, it curves again. So it makes no sense, this straight up and down line. Excuse me. As well as allegedly the child's arm being there. It looks like it's photoshopped in. I mean, this whole thing is so fake and photoshopped, just like other pictures. I mean, there's so many problems with all the pictures. You can also see a discoloration here, like it was a lot of photoshopping done here to curve this shirt up over the rock. She's like floating on the rocks. It's like not even touching anything. And you can see you see a lot of pixelation and darker blue color there, showing that there was a lot of photoshopping going on. So yet again, another fake Photoshop picture, just like all the other ones that she has on her Instagram, the one with the balloons that doesn't have a string attached to it and everything else. I mean, everything is so fake and phony. And this has been going on, continues to go on. They never get called out by the mainstream media or anyone else. And I've thought about this. What are they really trying to achieve here? I mean, yes, they're getting a lot of clicks and attention, the fake belly bumps and all the lies. But what are they really? What's the end game of Harry and Meghan besides making asses out of themselves? Well, this article on Twitter X gave me an idea about. I'm sure you've heard about how there's cognitive and influence warfare being waged against us right now, ever since, especially since 2020. Said, and it goes into, hopefully you can read this, make this large enough, make it a little bigger here. Yeah, so I'm just going to scroll through it. It's rather long. I'm not going to read it word for word. But he's saying how, all of us are scrolling through social media and we're saying like that, quote, there's no way that's true. So things that trigger an immediate emotional response and cause vitriol, which is exactly what Harry and Meghan do. And they're saying, why that post? Why right now? Why us? So that flash of anger, spike of fear, or intoxicating certainty that you have just witnessed something outrageous and undeniable, like Meghan Markle's fake belly bumps. That may not have happened to you by accident. It may be engineered. Not in some vague paranoid sense, literally engineered, designed, tested, refined. So he's talking about how AI is also in all of our feeds on social media. We're all being fed a very specific diet of social media, right? So this is the 21st century most consequential battlefield. There are no bombs, uniforms, and no declaration of war. The weapons are algorithms, fabricated personas, deepfake videos, Photoshop pictures, and carefully crafted narratives seeded across platforms. The casualties of this war are trust, a coherent reality, and the capacity for ordinary people to make sense of the world around them. In other words, this is cognitive warfare. And unlike every other form of warfare in human history, it's being waged against us right now. Not despite the fact that you're a civilian, but precisely because you are. And he goes into how the intelligence agencies, we know Harry and Meghan working with Chia, theorizing influence operations. They've changed their scale and the technologies over the years for mass psychological manipulation. especially through social media. So he did a comprehensive report on how he got here, tracing the lineage of cognitive influence warfare from as earliest roots in the Cold War to today. So then it goes through the history of it. So cognitive warfare is deliberate targeting of the human mind, belief formation, perception, decision making, and social trust as a primary theater of conflict. It's not merely propaganda rebranded, it's literally a doctrinal evolution that treats the brain itself as the ultimate battle space. Psychological operations. And NATO formally defined it as, quote, activities conducted in synchronization with other instruments of power to affect attitudes and behavior, influencing, protecting, or disrupting individual and group cognition to gain advantage over an adversary. So we all know Harry's working with NATO, right? Ostensibly for the Invictus Games. Yeah. Taiwan National Defense University noted that cognitive warfare itself first appeared in a NATO report describing it as unconventional mode of warfare. Exploits psychological biases and reflexive thinking to manipulate human cognition, induce changes in thought, and thereby cause negative impacts. So this is to fragment us. This is to get people questioning reality. I was thinking about it. He goes through the history here. I'm just going to scroll through it. But thinking of Harry and Meghan, and I'm like, why are they a psychological operation? Yes, they're here to trigger people and upset them. But I think that also, of course, obviously, there are a disruption of traditional and national sovereignty and structures and family structures. Like everything you can think of, Harry and Meghan set out, they're like a wrecking ball to destroy it all, as well as, dividing people into pro versus anti. And of course, you can do that with many topics. There's a lot of, especially the Jabberwockies, were very much a part of this psychological operation as well. But in general, the idea in the long term, it's not about just one topic. It's not about Jabberwockies or Harry and Meghan or, whatever the controversy may be. There's many of them out there for different groups. The idea is to get everybody fragmented and not seeing the same reality so that everyone is living in their own different perception of how the world really is. And that is the end game, to confuse, obviously, but separate and to get everybody in a different reality. And this is the intention and the goal, so that people are no longer coherent in their support or positive thinking of any particular national or sovereign idea. And this is being inflicted. NATO is very prominent in this. And as well as, of course, intelligence agencies and academia, of course, all, part of this. So the alliance's stated goal is a two-pronged capability, protecting NATO decision-making from adversarial manipulation while developing offensive cognitive effects against adversaries. So in the New World Order, who are the adversaries? It's the globalists versus the average person, the average peasant, right? They collect data from you and your phones, of course, and everything you do online. And of course, every move you make on social media, how long you pause somewhere, any responses, anything you type. And with Microsoft's new Windows 11, that everything you type, everything you look at on your screen is being captured by AI, brought back to the cloud, analyzed, recorded, and profiles are made of you in order to come back and create a, your own little echo chamber and everybody is getting a different feed. I believe everybody's getting different information targeted at them, so that more and more over time, people are getting completely different. Of course, DARPA, of course, is a part of it, and more is coming out about the Jabberwockies and graphene oxide in them, and how that can cause people to be like Havana syndrome, controlled or tortured via, ostensibly 5G, 6G. So a lot of different things going on, distract people from that as well. And so, of course, Harry and Meghan's saga, the Megxit, in 2020 occurred again. I keep saying right at the same time that the COVID psyop began. No coincidence there. Major distracting many people from what's going on, was really going on with the Jabberwockies and whatnot, and the whole farce, and uncovering what a lie everything was. And of course, the censorship is a large part of it as well, to keep people from becoming aware of things. And so this has been going on for decades, he's pointing out with this article. And he even mentions CISA, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, expanded its critical infrastructure to monitor, quote, mis, dis, and malformation. Of course, we know Harry and Meghan have been very involved in that as well. And TRG has done a lot of research on that, a lot of videos. They called CISA the nerve center of the federal government's domestic surveillance and censorship operations. So we're under attack, basically, by this, as you know. But Harry and Meghan appear to be a large part of this. They're a large psyop, as we know. And it's just, when you think about them, you think, well, what is the end game, right? I mean, they're just destroying themselves and making fools out of themselves. It seems, but they keep going and keep going, right? Well, it seems that this is, basically, it seems to me, I mean, he doesn't talk about Harry and Meghan in this, by the way. Harry and Meghan is not mentioned in this article. So you can see it's very long. You can pause it and, read it. But, Harry and Meghan are tied to the military within Griftis, and Harry is at NATO, and they did push the Jabberwockies. So they are, throughout this, involved in this. So he goes, the future implications of this. He said, as of 2026, the core structural problem is that the cognitive battle space, meaning our minds, moves at the speed of social media algorithms, while the U.S. government institutions are designed for a bureaucratic process. Yeah, so the bureaucracies can't keep up with it, right? We know that with what's being flashed out online to us constantly. It says the recommended solution, censoring cognitive warfare governance above the department level, directly with National Security Council, faces immediate civil liberties objections, since any system designed to respond to adversarial cognitive operations on the domestic information space risks becoming an instrument of domestic political control. NATO describes cognitive warfare threat environment targeting, quote, trust networks, identity narratives, and institutional legitimacy. So what do you think of the identity narratives, how they try to really, I was going through and seeing that there's a lot of videos that are coming out to inflame the anti-Muslims in UK. I mean, I'm not saying invasion's not going on, but it seems like it's maybe inflated to upset people more, possibly. But I also see it with the gender ideology stuff, a lot. So there's a lot of the identity narratives where it just seems like they're taking advantage of it and inflaming it. It can be with the algorithms they use, and that's intentional. And any kind of trust network and institutional legitimacy. And of course, Harry and Meghan are attacking the institutional legitimacy of the royal family, as well as perhaps the governments as well with their activities. Harry with the African parks, working with some congressmen and the governments there. There seems to be this Harry and Meghan causing controversy in all of these areas to get people not to trust them anymore, right? Said when adversaries can erode the shared factual substrate that democratic deliberation requires. Okay, so Harry and Meghan are doing that. They're eroding the shared factual substrate, or they're eroding the facts that everybody agrees upon, right? They, from the very beginning, they have hired a team of Sussex Squad to counter everything, to get people, the general public, confused about, well, what's really going on here, right? Are Harry and Meghan the monsters faking pregnancies and lying, or are they the victims? So that controversy and erosion of trying to determine the facts of what's really going on here, and they're just one example. I mean, this is happening with all different topics, but they are indeed, and have been for 6-7 years, been attacking, causing confusion as to what the truth is, right? Of what they've actually done and what they continue to do. And that destruction of eroding what people believe are facts about them is the intention. That's the end game. And it attacks democracy because people need to know what the facts are and understand them in order to work cohesively together in making whatever changes need to be made in order to fix the situation. The most dangerous development may be what researchers call the liar's dividend, because everyone knows that deepfakes exist. Fabricated content does not just deceive, it provides a permanent alibi for true content. So again, starting off with Meghan's photoshopped and AI videos, Harry and Meghan have been putting them out nonstop, and nobody calls them out, even when they're obvious, like her dancing with a blanket under her dress with Harry, that fake AI video, when it was obvious fake bump. And they portrayed it. Meghan went on a podcast and said, "Oh, did you see him a dance I did right before giving birth to Lilibet?" Nobody in the mainstream media or on that podcast, there's definitely a group of globalist-backed people that would not call out an obvious lie like that. And, obviously this is an attack on us. It's the liar's dividend. Like, they are just causing everyone to say, why is nobody calling this out? So it's not just that Harry and Meghan lie and put up Photoshop pictures that nobody in the mainstream media ever calls out, or any prominent influencer, if you will just call it out. She's never confronted about it or anything. And so now we are in a position where we distrust mainstream media, and I don't see the video here. I thought she posted it on her Instagram. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this one, I mean, it's so obviously fake. This bump here bulging out like a square. And I mean, I think the whole thing's AI, but now we distrust any mainstream media or podcaster or anyone in the media. I mean, how can you trust them when they do not confront even the most obvious either AI video or just scam lie here. I mean, look, the face disappears. I mean, that's why the part of the reason I think it's AI. The face doesn't just disappear in a regular video. See, people are not trusting their eyes with these videos, and they should, because I bet if I put it in an app, it would say, oh, it's a real video. I mean, you don't think they control the apps, the free apps out there? Come on. Anyways, I digress. The point is, it's causing all of us to distrust the news more, which we should. But that means that the problem with that is now that real evidence and real videos may be dismissed as AI. So it's causing that confusion for people who can't tell that that's a fake video. And so we're seeing this phenomena play out in real time with the ongoing war in Iran, and it will only get worse as we retreat to our respective ideological bunkers. It offers perhaps the clearest illustration yet of cognitive warfare operating at full industrial scale in a live conflict. It says the information environment fractured along lines that had nothing to do with geography and everything to do with pre-existing ideological identity, depending on which feeds, accounts, and platforms the person inhabits or visits. They are living inside entirely different versions of the same war. One audience sees precision strikes neutralizing an existential nuclear threat. Another sees illegal aggression against a sovereign nation and mass civilian casualties. And a third group sees a manufactured crisis engineered to serve domestic political interests. So so he's pointing out everybody's coming from vastly different perspectives, and you can't have a democracy where everybody's working with different facts. And of course, they want to control the facts, right? With AI generated and fact checkers, AI generated imagery and fact checkers and fake AI apps and everything else, it's very difficult to get through this fog of war. So the fog is now being manufactured and distributed on demand by systems that can generate it faster than any human institution can dispel it. Yeah. So he's saying that, so for example, with the Iran war, the cognitive infrastructure, see, the governments and the globalists feel that they own our minds, our cognition. Like it's their resource and they want to control it. There's so much effort over the centuries with censorship and wanting to control everyone's mind. And they just feel like they have every right to get you to believe what they want you to believe, no matter how ridiculous the lie is, right? And so a lot of their lies from the past are catching up with them and being exposed. But now they have this AI-generated content with farms of AI in dozens of languages. It never goes away. It's refined and commercialized. And it's going to be used in the next election, the next public health crisis, the next social fracture points, the next moment when a population is frightened and searching for an explanation. And that is the true danger to the world I hope this report has articulated. It is not that any single piece of disinformation will destroy a democracy. It is the cumulative compounding effect of living inside a permanently manipulated information environment that eventually destroys the one thing that no democracy can survive without: a shared capacity to reason together about what is real. The war for your mind has already begun. Whether you are a combatant or a casualty is, to a meaningful degree, still your choice. So he has a Substack, wethefree.substack.com. You can read more. It's a very interesting, well-written article. So now this is what I'm going to do a reading about. Harry and Meghan's role in this sweeping, widespread cognitive warfare going on. So, I mean, now that more and more people know what a lie Harry and Meghan are, their Meghan's background, how they really got together, blah, blah, blah. But, and everyone also knows the royal family is supporting them, has supported all of this. They would never have gotten away with all this without their support, continued support. And then the fact that they're going back into the royal family just confirms it. So, who trusts anything out of the royal family anymore in general? I mean, Harry and Meghan didn't get away with faking these births of children, especially Archie, without the help of the royal family supporting them in their lies, right? So let's take a look in general at Harry and Meghan and their role in this cognitive warfare on humanity. I remember Duchess of Narcissus, TRG played a clip where Duchess of Narcissus was writing to a Sussex squatter, and the Sussex squatter said to her, "This is a war." And Duchess of Narcissus was like, "Whoa, what are you talking about? I'm not at war with anyone." But this is it. It's the cognitive war, I believe, the Sussex squatter well aware of, that they're a part of, So I don't think they're just crazy. There are a lot of things, a lot of them are going to be CIA. We know Sarah Data worked at Google. I mean, it's all Chia kind of connected things going on. To make it look like it's just some women getting together. No. There's a whole operation there with them. We all know that. So, yeah. They really fueled it on, right? They really flamed things up to create that. So Harry and Meghan have been a very effective distraction during COVID, as well as divisive and putting out all this being fake and everything from beginning to end. Nothing, it seems, is true in everything they do. So how's it going with their war for our minds? Oh, this just flipped out over here. And it's conflict and defeat. Wow. Yeah. So this is a flipped out reversed. So, of course, they're here to create excess conflict and to defeat the people, defeats the peasants who they're against, the average person, right? Because they want to they want to put you under this new world order with digital currencies and one world government. And they're here to get you all distracted and confused while they implement. See, your distraction is very important for them to implement. While Harry and Meghan are creating a brouhaha, they implement injections. And we saw Harry and Meghan working directly with the World Health Organization, who now are the ones that are going to be telling the world all these sovereign governments suddenly give power over to the World Health Organization to say, "Oh, tell us what to do in the next pandemic." And of course, the World Health Organization will say, "Okay, lock down and take this injection and take that injection." So that is the victory that Harry and Meghan helped to bring about. Obviously, Harry's very close with NATO and with the World Health Organization. So this is about defeating us, humanity. They're still on it. They've been doing it. They've been successful so far in distorting the truth and getting away with their lies. Because again, nobody calls them out on any of their fake Photoshop pictures or videos. All their lies, heartache and loss. Three of Swords reversed here. So yes, they want to cause upset people naturally. They want people to lose everything, own nothing, and be happy. Swords, and these are swords and swords. 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords. The swords, the mind. And they want people to lose faith in everything, in your government, in your church. Who trusts the Church of England that married Meghan to Harry, allegedly? And Meghan lied and said they got married ahead of time, that kind of thing. That was the only one time when then it came out and said Meghan lied about that, but then no repercussions. Meghan and Harry never responded and said, "Oh, oops. Yeah, Meghan did lie about getting married a few days before." But, as far as... in general, Harry and Meghan have been getting away with, everything. they don't necessarily pretend to be religious. Of course, they're Satanists in reality, but so I can't think of any examples of them attacking a church. They do support the Muslims. We know Harry and Meghan support the Muslims all the time. They don't support Christian organizations. So that could be seen as part of the attack they have on the religious institutions. And of course, that's one of the big things being inflamed is, the UK being a Christian-based nation, and then bringing all these Muslims, and the Muslims are taking over the streets and everything. So Harry and Meghan, of course, take the side of the Muslims. They're always working with Muslims, right? So you got that portion of it as well, part of Harry and Meghan's divisiveness and attacking and inflaming things. Because here you have royal family members. When the royal family, not just the king, but the royal family is supposed to be supportive of their own church, right? The Church of England. But Harry and Meghan obviously do not, as they always put money towards refugees and Muslims. Meghan's always pictured helping Muslim women, not Christians or others. So, yeah. So what is their source of strength, Harry and Meghan, what they're doing? Six of, this is the Lovers card. So, of course, at the bottom of it all, they are, I don't see this as Harry and Meghan, obviously, although they are portraying, the couple here. They're working together very closely on the same team because they're both, as far as, UK, US, bringing in New World Order vibes here. The Five Eyes bonding here, but also Harry and Meghan working with intelligence and NATO and WHO, the World Health Organization as well. So they are very much, obviously Harry and Meghan couldn't figure this out on their own. They're being directed. They're being told what to do. This is your next mission. This is what you're going to do next. You're going to work with Renee DiResta and Tristan Harris, and you're going to make a video on time. And then you're going to visit the Stanford Observatory, which, thank goodness, has been taken down now. But that was the first stop they made in 2020 when they entered the U.S. to do censorship, part of the censorship complex. And, of course, Aspen Institute. So Harry and Meghan are just taking directions and working closely with the intelligence, the Five Eyes, and all of that. It's a big, huge organization. Obviously, it's not just Harry and Meghan doing their own thing here. They're just puppets being, sent here and sent there and whatever. Yeah. How do they feel they've done so far? How is their past performance? And I get awareness reversed. Okay, so we got awareness here, which is a magician card. I don't know if it's too dark here. Let me see something. Make it a little brighter here. It's a little better there. Yeah, but my first thought was the mind. You see, awareness. So this is people's awareness and perception, their cognition, and they're turning it upside down. And that's been, their intention. And I got a major arcana, so they've been very successful. Obviously, they have the mainstream media working with them and supporting everything they do. Not one person in the mainstream media, except those that get kicked off mainstream media, like Dan Wooten or others. But even then, you've got some of them, they're going to be controlled opposition. I'm not accusing him of being that necessarily, but that is the case, that the alternate media space is co-opted a number of people. So you can't even trust that anymore. There's, double agents everywhere. This whole thing's such a huge operation. So yeah, they've been successful in messing with people's minds and their realities, especially during COVID. And that's one of the complaints I always had, besides Harry and Meghan being such liars and fakes, is that they did this, all their lies about the racism and about the birth of Archie and about everything that Meghan claimed to do, and repeating her dish soap story or whatever, all this abusiveness and psychological torture on us at the same time that the COVID psyop was going. And you had Fauci and Psaki, Biden regime, and all these Rochelle Walensky and that Leanna Wen coming in and saying, all these unvaccinated, they need to be locked up at home. They should be forced vaccinated. They shouldn't be allowed to go anywhere. And safe and effective. go get it, or else you'll lose your job. You can't go to school. So at the same time that Harry and Meghan were doing this, and I thought, wow, both of these psyops at the same time, and there may have been others I can't think of, but those are the big ones that I remember. And I just remember thinking, wow, the cruelty of the psychological abuse of these compounding psyops going on at the same time, I felt made them so much more malicious and evil and cruel about it. It's bad enough they're going around lying about everything and faking pregnancies and putting up Photoshop videos, pics, and creating controversy. But at the same time as COVID, and you notice over the years, while all this COVID psyops going on, Harry and Meghan have never breathed one word about it. They did the Vax Live thing, but they never addressed the controversy over the vaccines. They've never commented on whether they got it or not. There's no picture of them ever getting it. I don't believe they did, obviously. I don't think any globalist has. But the point is, I just find it interesting that the years that this went on, 2020, 21, 22, 23, all the time, while particularly at the end of 2021, when people were getting fired from their jobs, that's when they really dug in with the mandates and said, you're fired if you don't get it, and you're gonna everybody's losing their job, and they couldn't go to school, and people are dying. And what are Harry and Meghan doing? They're releasing a bot sentinel report, and they're going on Netflix and Oprah saying, I think it was Netflix, because that's when the bot sentinel came out. And then they came out with their Netflix boo-hoo-hooing that people are mean to them and the royal family is racist. And that's where they had the Sophia Nobel on there and claiming, it's these YouTubers and the bot sentinel. So while completely ignoring what's going on in the world, right? All Harry and Meghan talked about was, boo-hoo-hoo, Meghan's upset. People are racist, asking about skin color. Which is a total lie. But again, she's doing that at the same time that the COVID psyop's going on. Harry and Meghan never once mentioned the COVID psyop or anything related to it, about the vaccines, about the propaganda going on that we were all being saturated with. But Harry and Meghan never had a thing to say about it. Never boo. They pretended like they were in this alternate universe and they weren't affected or even mentioning any of that. Which, of course, is intentional. It must have been intentional. But I find that interesting that that's how they played it out. Like as if there's these two universes going on that are unaware of each other when it was happening at the same time to all of us. So it's the omissions of Harry and Meghan, it's all intentional, how they never address any of the lies. And what, even though people constantly bring it up, like the fake belly bumps, they initially started censoring it, and I think that was also to incite people and to anger them as well. But the censorship, of course, plays a part of this. But yeah, I just felt like I'm interested to know why they did this psyop at the same time as the COVID, and then pretended like they didn't know the COVID psyop was going on, and they were just only concerned with themselves all the time and not at all connecting. Harry and Meghan acted like they weren't connected to the American people while they're living in America. I mean, it affected the world, but I'm just saying you would think that you would be, especially with the COVID vaccines and everything else, you would think that they would have been there. Like, when people in the beginning were long line of cars waiting for the parking lot to get their jab. No, you would have think Harry and Meghan would have been there, like handing out something or just doing something, because obviously that was a pivotal moment in history. But Harry and Meghan were nowhere to be found. That they just seemed to be in an alternate universe where they didn't have to think about the vaccines. Anyways, I think everybody has PTSD at the end of this. I think we're all going to need a support group just to get to the same reality of what actually happened here. I mean, I think more people, I hope most people who have been following this recognize this aspect of the Harry and Meghan saga and not just constantly reacting to them, but to stepping back and saying, Why are they doing what they do? And how do they keep getting away with it? And why is Harry hanging out with NATO? And why is Harry and Meghan hanging out with the World Health Organization? What's really going on here? Because I think if we could all come to the same reality, that would go against their plan, because their plan is to have us in separate realities of understanding of what really happened here, what's really happening. And at least pull together and sort of piece it together with different aspects of it, of what, so I'd love to hear what if you've been following this Harry and Meghan saga from the beginning, how you have been perceive this, how everything's played out along with COVID and Harry at the same Meghan at the same time, and what you feel was unusual maybe about it, or what stood out to you, and how you feel or what you would think that Harry and Meghan are really up to, and what they seem to be doing really well so far, but what was the point of it all, and how it played out, and how both of them acted and still continue to this day behave, and the end game of it, and how to perhaps really counteract their whole psyop. Of course, ignoring them is always an option, but we've been following them, and so we didn't ignore them. So now I'm just trying to piece together, well, how did this psyop work in order to recognize it in the future, and know what they're doing and why they're doing it. So it's a study. It's a good case study so that you don't fall for it again, in other words. So it'll be interesting to me to see how they're going to end this psyop. Are they going to come out and confess? I'm going to ask that. What are they planning to do with the psyop? Are Harry and Meghan going to continue to the end of their days pushing their lies and not denying the truth? And or are they going to come clean? Are they going to ultimately, that dropped out, that didn't pop out, so I'm not counting that. Are they going to ultimately come clean and say, yeah, it was a psyop. Yeah, we just did it all. We were all acting the whole time we were under directions of the royal family. Okay. This one seemed to pop out onto the floor. So what they're expecting to do, I got new beginnings, the Fool. Yeah, the New World Order. And you notice this woman she's standing on top of the world. So you got a woman here holding a javelin, and she is literally standing on the globe. New beginnings, New World Order. Yeah, so Harry and Meghan are of course, that they're expecting the New World Order to be put in, and they're going to be dictators in it. They're going to be high up there. They're going to be part of the powerful elite at the top that want to be while you peasants will be mind controlled by them and subjugated through digital currencies, just like in the Chinese communist system. So, yeah, that's definitely the plan, for sure. We know that. It's just confirming what we already know. So what's going to happen in the long term then? Are Harry and Meghan ever going to come clean and say, yeah, it was all lies. Yeah, we know. We were just doing it to F all your minds. Cognitive warfare. That one dropped out. I don't think I'm going to take that. Well, I do have prosperity begins reversed. Well, prosperity will begin with them while they're taking away our prosperity and our freedoms and ways of making and money and ability to support ourselves and lead independent, free lives. That's in the future. This one is, oh my goodness, yeah, deception and envy. Oh my goodness, this is the future that they're planning on. So obviously, Seven of Swords here, which is, and you see he's wearing a mask on his head. I don't know if you can see that too well, but he's got like one of those Venetian masks on his head. So the masked one, we always see the mask of Harry and Meghan, or particularly Meghan with the mask, the narcissist mask that drops all the time. She particularly dislikes those videos, I heard. But anyways, yeah, so they're going to continue the deception and envy. At least they're going to continue. I don't know if they're envy of the freedom of the people and the happy lives they live. I mean, they're envious of that. um, being, more honest and closer to God. I don't know. They are, demon possessed, in my opinion. I'll ask that. But they're not going to, Harry and Meghan are, it doesn't look like from this I'm getting, they're never going to come clean. They're going to continue their deception and lies, and they're never going to admit to being liars. So they're going to take it to their grave. Now, they could be brainwashed themselves. Who knows? Who knows? Are Harry and Meghan brainwashed themselves? Oh, sacrifice. Yeah, they're the sacrificial lambs. As far as with the LGBTQ, get the rainbow going on there, going right through her brain. You see how she's got the brainwashed right through the brain there. I think Harry and Meghan are mind controlled to a certain extent and brainwashed. And Harry is being sacrificed as well as Meghan in the long term. As far as their public opinion and who knows? They may be literally sacrificed. But I'm asking if they're brainwashed, and I'm getting a yes. Both of them excessively so. Their heads, and you see the head in the clouds with the LGBTQ rainbow, which is a flag of the New World Order. You don't have a flag for a sexual orientation. I mean, these people are so brainwashed. They actually made a flag for a sexual orientation. And I mean, yeah, I know in general, there was a rainbow one for gays in the past, but now they've gone and made flags for every single version of it. Like, they got like 10 different flags. I mean, why do you need a flag? Flags are only used when you conquer a country and you want to put your flag down. It just goes to show that's the New World Order pushing this. This is the one world government flag is what I'm getting at, these new flags that they're making. So Harry and Meghan are definitely a part of that. Shown by this, with the brainwashing into the New World Order, is where it's going to end. Because, of course, destroying fertility and all of that is also a part of Harry and Meghan, as well as the new globalist agenda. So, yeah, they're totally brainwashed, Harry and Meghan as well. They're definitely under control of something, but I'm also getting mind control as well. Yeah, because I don't think they could have handled this, or I don't think any human could handle doing something like this, so horrific and atrocious crimes against humanity that they've contributed to without, Harry could be on the ayahuasca. He's doing his therapy, so-called, which we know is probably a chia pet therapist that's just giving him stuff to numb his mind. So they're, whether it's narcotics or whatever, they are definitely under mind control, these two. And yeah, there's MK Ultra or whatever you want to call it, brainwashing, that they're boots on the ground. They're soldiers for the New World Order, and they're under this brainwashing as well. And a lot of people have been brainwashed. They call it the woke virus. That's brainwashing. When you say people have taken over their minds, taken over the woke virus, and that's just a nice way. A new way of saying brainwashing. So, anyways, what was the other question I was going to ask? There's something else I can't remember now. I've forgotten the question. Yeah, they're never going to come clean. They're going to continue the deception. They're brainwashed. They're working with NATO and other New World Order globalists. They have been successfully messing with people's reality. It still bothers us that the mainstream media won't, tell the truth or expose or confront them. They are here to attack us, cause conflict, obviously the Sussex Squad, and they want to depress people, and they want to dishearten people. This is, right, heartache and loss. They want you to lose everything, and they want you to be demoralized. That's also a part of it as well. They keep doing it and doing it year after year. The lying to us by the mainstream media and the royal family and just everyone that Harry and Meghan works with, NATO, World Health Organization, all these major organizations lying to us, not confronting the truth, not trying to get to the truth, just more brainwashing and propaganda. It's demoralizing, and of course that's going to continue with doing that, and that's the whole point. Get people confused, upset, angry, disgusted, not trusting anyone or anything, being divided. because of whatever you take your pick, whatever topic you divide it on, and creating that, and through the internet and social media, and it's going to continue. And Harry and Meghan are just another part of that. Yeah, so really sick, twisted stuff, and yeah, hopefully they do not succeed in the end. I think most people see through them, but I think most important to see through what they represent and what the larger um, picture of what they've been accomplishing. So, anyways, I hope you found this somewhat interesting. I'd like to hear what your take is on this cognitive warfare on us by Harry and Meghan. It will continue into the future for sure. It's never going to end, and it's a lot bigger than them, of course. So I hope you found this interesting. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.